All right, well, welcome everybody to a impromptu episode of The Drew Point. My name is Drew Davis. I'm a meteorologist here at Hawaii News Now. This is a live storm Q&A session that we're going to have here on the Hawaii News Now HNN streaming app, also on Facebook and also on YouTube Live. So if you're watching on your HNN streaming app and you've got a question, you can always keep watching us on the HNN streaming app on your big TV. Or you can log into Facebook or YouTube and be able to answer or ask some questions in the chat. Again, lots of questions, cancellations with this Kona storm that's approaching. I know there may be some people that were frustrated that it didn't play out the forecast originally as we were going into Tuesday and Wednesday, but the second round, the more impactful round of weather, is expected to arrive late tonight, and we're already starting to see some showers out there. So let's just get into the details. Again, I want to show you what's going on outside on our first alert radar and satellite. Again, lots of colors, lots to break down here. Again, if you have any questions, if you have anything you want me to focus on, I'm here to answer questions and help kind of walk you guys through this storm. We'll be here for a while. All right, let's. I'm also got the chat, got the Facebook Live chat right here, so we'll be able to answer any questions. Okay, we got a couple people saying, "How's it, Drew?" It is raining outside, Jake. Nobody in YouTube right now, but let's get into the details on our first alert radar and satellite. I'm going to take this island by island again. Let's zoom out a little bit to show you what we're dealing with. Again, here's the center of the Kona low off to the northwest of us here. So you're seeing some lightning on the radar as well. This is called a Kona low because of the way it kind of flips our winds. The Kona low is a low pressure system at the surface. This is a pretty strong one that's also being supported at the mid and upper levels in the atmosphere. And low pressure like this rotates counterclockwise. So again, we're getting air being pulled out of the south and southwest, giving it the name Kona low because it gives us Kona winds, which Kona winds are typically referred to out of the south or southwest. Technically, if it's southwest. But again, we're seeing moisture moving in from the south and southwest. We're going to continue to see further intensification throughout tonight. Let's just show you what's going on over on Kauai. Again, the Kauai radar is the only radar that's up right now that's able to show us anything over on the Garden Isle or over on Oahu. The Molokai radar is currently down. Mel in the chat on YouTube is saying, how long will this storm last? It looks like it could last into this weekend, shifting eastward throughout Saturday, getting closer to Maui County and Hawaii Island, going into Saturday evening and Sunday. How many inches of rainfall expected for Kauai? Ashley's asking. Ashley, I'll show you our forecasted rainfall totals coming up in a bit. I do want to focus on the radar first. I promise we'll get there. Severe thunderstorm watch. When will the severe thunderstorm watch will be issued? I don't know if we'll see a severe thunderstorm watch from the National Weather Service. I mean, it's possible, but at this point, I don't know if they're going to pull the trigger on the severe thunderstorm watch. I think the main concern with this is continuous heavy rainfall and then also the potential for damaging south winds. So again, we're already starting to see the winds pick up. Got a lot of people joining. 270 people on Facebook. Again, if you're just joining us, this is kind of a live Q&A about the storm. I'm here to answer questions. I know a lot of people were frustrated yesterday. It was sunny over Kauai and Oahu, but the more impactful round of weather is on the way. So let's take a look. Hopefully more people are joining in on YouTube as well. All right, here's what's going on over on Kauai. Again, the Kauai radar is the only radar up right now that can show Kauai or Oahu. The Molokai radar is currently down. We don't have a weather radar on Oahu, which is kind of frustrating at times. Really poor radar coverage across the state of Hawaii. Let's just show you what's going on now. Over in Kekaha, we're seeing some downpours out there. Not a ton of rainfall, maybe closer to 0.3 of an inch right now per hour. Some of these heavier cells off to the southeast of the island, however, putting down closer to 2 inches of rainfall in these heavier parts of the system, 2 inches of rainfall per hour. But as we continue to zoom out, again, there's a lot of moisture moving in from the southwest. This is expected to further intensify in the overnight going into tonight. Not seeing a ton of thunderstorms out there right now. There is some thunder off to the north of the island chain. I do want to say that this is not going to be this is going to come in waves. This is not going to come in this is not going to be Rain, 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 rain. There will be different waves. There is already starting to be a little bit of a lull just to the west of Kauai, but then there's this next wave off to the northwest. John Bravender, one of the meteorologists at the National Weather Service at the Honolulu Forecasting Office, was at the governor's press conference today, and he even reiterated that they don't want the public, or they don't want people to get lulled into a false sense of security. The models are outputting a pretty strong storm. The impacts could be damaging in some spots. We've already seen some ponding and some flooding over parts of the state today with just the isolated thunderstorms. Parts of Oahu woke up to thunderstorms earlier today. Let's check in on the chat. All right. Any high wind in Waimanalo? Shila's asking. Waimanalo could be seeing some high winds. Let's actually take a look at that. Look at the high wind warning. Again, the high wind warning is currently up for the entirety of the state except for Hawaii Island. The summits of Mauna Loa and Mauna Kea are under a high wind warning as well. They're also under a winter storm warning. The winds at the summits could, of course, get much stronger than what we're seeing at the surface. Southwesterlies possible. And now these are sustained winds. 30 to 40 miles per hour. And when I mean sustained wind, that's a 2-minute average. That's what NOAA or the NWS defines as a sustained wind. It's an average of all the wind speeds over a 2-minute period, and it's pretty strong for an average. Gusts, of course, would be the maximum, would be 70 miles per hour possible. So again, high wind warning up for the entirety of the state. Shyla, I know you asked specifically for Waimanalo. Again, with these systems, it kind of comes down to how exactly how the wind is oriented. Again, strong winds obviously possible across the entirety of the island, but we've got to be paying attention to the orientation of the wind. If you remember a couple of weeks ago, I think it was about a month ago now, we had that strong system come through, ripped some roofs off of houses, caused some damage out there. It was very, very windy over the leeward side of Oahu. The reasoning for that was the strong trade winds. We had a very strong high pressure system that was to the north of us, and it was to the north of us throughout a couple of days. So just continuous strong winds. The reason the winds were so strong on the leeward side then is because the winds were coming out of the east to northeast, typical trade winds, rushing up the Waianae mountain range, and then gaining speed as they rush down the other side. So as you see winds rush up the mountains, they're going to rush down and get much quicker as they're coming down the other side. What's different about this one, and why I say Waimanalo could be seeing stronger winds, we're expecting southwesterly winds. Winds are starting to shift to be more southerly, and they're going to be southwesterly as the low continues to creep closer to us. It's kind of an opposite situation. So you've got the winds rushing up the Ko'olau mountain range and then gaining speed on the other side. So it could be pretty breezy over the windward side of the islands going forward. I've seen some videos saying on Oahu, of course, we refer to windward Oahu. That's pretty. I feel like it's pretty common here on Oahu, but windward for the other islands would be the east side of the island, east-northeast side of the island, the side that typically gets the trade winds compared to the other side, which is the leeward side, which is in lee of the mountains. That's the leeward side, so typically the west side. All right, again, high wind warning. Hopefully that answers your question, Shyla. Adam's saying, I want to barbecue on Saturday, can or no? That depends on where you're at, Adam. Again, we're covering the entire state here. Jake's asking if there's a wind advisory on Oahu. Jake, there is above a wind advisory. There is a high wind warning that's the level above in the National Weather Service. Kea'au is just cloudy. Yeah, Hawaii Island not seeing a ton of rainfall right now. Your audio keeps going out on YouTube. Thank you for the heads up, Shannon. I'm gonna double check. I'm gonna put something in the YouTube chat. Thank you for the heads up, Shannon. I want to make sure that we are getting the information out. Nolan's saying, do you think that there will be a lot of flight delays tomorrow? I think it is possible, Nolan. Again, the messaging here is that it's going to come in waves. It really depends on where you're at. I'll show you. Let's go through the first alert futurecast, and we'll do a comparison. We'll do a model comparison. So let's look at the GFS first. So you can kind of see this moisture is going to further intensify in the overnight. We're already starting to see some showers off to the northwest. The GFS brings that moisture down to Oahu throughout early Friday morning. So if you're on Oahu, the potential for flight delays is possible. But again, this is going to come in waves. There will be a little bit of lulls. I could see some planes getting out in time. It's kind of hard to predict when exactly, like what the aviation industry is going to be doing out there. I know there will be some lulls, and they're always looking at the radar, and they're better at being able to tell when they're going to be able to fly or not. I'm not necessarily an expert on that, but you can see as we're going into Friday, intensification over Oahu, moving down to Maui County Saturday, and then kind of lingering around the central portions of the state, getting closer to Hawaii Island going into Wednesday of next week. The GFS and the European weather model kind of disagree as we're going further in time. All right, let's see. Yeah, Glenn's saying no storm in Kauai. Yeah, we're kind of in a lull over on Kauai. Again, let's take a look at the Euro. This is the European weather model, showing you what's going on. Audio set. Shannon says people in the YouTube chat are saying no audio issue. So I don't. It may be on your end. Nobody else is having issues. Yes, Val School. We've had a couple of cancellations. I'm actually going to get that story and put that into the chat so you guys can go through that together. City closes. I'm going to go to our website. You can go to Hawaii News Now and find that. Also, there was an earthquake today. There was a magnitude 4.3 earthquake just off to the southeast of the Big Island. So when it rains, it pours, guys. Lots to talk about. I'm going to make sure that I can get the closures list. I'm going to have one of our digital team do that for you guys. I want to make sure that we're... Okay. All right, let's go through the Euro, show you what's going on. I'm going to get one of our digital team to Slack me that so we can put the closure list out there so you can see everything that's closed. Again, the government, non-essential government workers not supposed to report to work. There's a whole list on hawaiinewsnow.com. I don't know it all off the top of my head, and just want to be able to give you that. Our digital team did a good job putting it together. As we go into late tonight, we're expecting further intensification over on Kauai, kind of like what's just off to the northwest. Potential for strong south winds. Then we're going to go into, this is Friday morning around 10 a.m., potentially developing in strength as we're going into the afternoon over Oahu and moving down to Maui County. Again, this is going to be coming in waves. It's not, there might be a lull out there. Saturday around 8 a.m. over Maui County, moving down to in between Maui County and Hawaii Island, going into Sunday, lingering moisture into Monday and Tuesday, and then some models outputting more rain next week, which may be a problem because the ground could be incredibly saturated after this storm. Hey, Davis Pittner is saying, big fan of the show. Davis, I'm a big fan of you. Thanks for watching, pal. Good to see you. Let's take a look at the rainfall totals. Again, this is, let's show you, I wanted to show you guys this earlier. This is raw weather model data. Again, this is just one model out of many, but a lot of these are showing the rainfall rates jumping up. This is from now, being now since the beginning of this run, 7 p.m. on March 12th, 2026. Let's just go through Sunday. You can see it goes from now until Sunday at 10 a.m. 10 inches in Keikaha, 6 inches, nearly 6 inches in Honolulu, 6 inches in Lihue, and then it continues to jump up. Look, as that could stall over the eastern half of the state, potentially 13 inches in Lahaina, 12 inches in Wailuku. Again, all the data is suggesting that we could see a chance for heavy rainfall. Again, I know lots of people were frustrated yesterday, and rightly so. I would be frustrated as well. But again, the potential was there, and we had to communicate it. Going into Tuesday, you can see lingering moisture, maybe jumping up even more into Thursday. One of the things that I have been working with, I've been working with a great program over at the University of Hawaii, Manoa. This is the Hawaii Climate Data Portal. This is the look at the rain totals so far. So they're a great team. They've been working with the Hawaii Mesonet, which is a network of weather observing sites across the state to show us how much rainfall has been falling over the last couple of days. Usually we show this on my YouTube daily to show the rainfall from yesterday, but they put together this graphic for us today to show, hey, look, the rain is... this is the rain from the beginning of the event, which again was March 10th, 2026. So since Tuesday, not much over on Hawaii Island, a few sprinkles, maybe closer to half an inch to an inch over parts of the southeastern side of the Big Island. Rainfall totals kind of climb as you go further. The heaviest totals so far with the Mesonet, this is extrapolated data, so it's not exact, has been over the northern portions of the Waianae mountain range, and then Kauai has had the highest rainfall totals. The absolute maximum has been 8 inches of rainfall over on Kauai. I believe it was the Mount Waialeale reading. But this doesn't show the exact maximum because the maximum would completely blow out the dynamic legend that they're using. So the highest that this goes up to is 5.5 inches. But very thankful for this. We're going to keep showing you guys this over the next couple of days. This is a great tool, great program at Hawaii Mesonet. Again, the continental United States has plenty of programs like this. They have the Oklahoma Mesonet, the Texas Mesonet, all of these weather observing sites across the state giving a clear picture of what's going on in the atmosphere. And we really haven't had that until the Hawaii Mesonet and the HCDP has started to work on this. So thank you guys again. We're going to continue showing this data the next couple of days. All right. Let's see. Any questions? Let's see. Let's go back to the radar. Actually, I haven't shown the winds because again, these are going to be picking up. Again, the system is just off to the northwest. You can see the contours starting to climb, and when I mean contours, I mean the colors in the background. But the actual wind readings, the sustained wind readings, haven't picked up too much. Again, it'll be late tonight as the actual low is climbing closer to us. 15-mile-per-hour winds out of the south in Lihue, southeasterlies over in Kona, Kauai, southeasterlies in town around 9 miles per hour. Again, these southerly winds have been introducing a lot of moisture and instability into the atmosphere, kind of priming it for the chance for heavy rainfall out there. But let's take a look at the wind cast. You'll see the winds grow. This is tomorrow afternoon. Southwesterlies between 15 to 25 miles per hour. I'll point out nearly 30-mile-per-hour sustained winds modeled in Lanai City. Continues to climb and shift southwesterly going into Saturday. Again, so even if you don't see rainfall, you'll be seeing strong winds. This is a statewide thing. At the beginning of the broadcast, I was saying that this would be the strongest winds of Gins will be in the valleys. The wind tunnel effect. That's kind of simple to explain. The winds get funneled in, speeding up. But the windward and north and northeastern side of each island, especially with these southwesterly winds, we'll be seeing the strongest wind gusts because, again, as the winds rush up the mountains, they've got to rush back down the other side, so speeding up. YouTube checking in. Anybody still having audio issues, please let us know. We want to make sure you guys can be able to hear us. Got lots of people watching. Questions. Lindsay, next week, Kauai, excuse me, be rainy. it looks like, let's actually look at the impacts graphic. I've been showing this a lot. This is a product that's been put out by the National Weather Service. Their impacts timeline kind of shows exactly what they're expecting, what they're forecasting going forward. Tonight, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. You'll notice as we're going into Monday for Kauai, showers will be tapering out there. Not expecting flooding throughout the first half of next week, Lindsay. But the potential really is through today, Saturday, Friday, and Saturday is there. Again, the models are showing some heavier rainfall. Kaipo is saying, guess who still has to go to work tomorrow? Me. I still have to go to work tomorrow. I know a lot of people still have to go to work tomorrow, so I just want you guys to be careful. That's why we've been talking about this storm since last week. How will it be for the Waianae Coast? Shane's asking. It's a good question, Shane. Let's actually show you again. Let's go through the first alert futurecast. Again, the system's moving in from the south and southwest, so the southern shores, the moisture again is moving in from the south, so in the southwest. So the moisture will first impact the southern shore, the southwestern shore, and then so the Waianae Coast could see some heavier rainfall. I know there were some thunderstorms over on Waianae. I've seen some unconfirmed reports of small hail coming down. I haven't seen a report from the National Weather Service or a confirmed video of that. I just want to mention that that is unconfirmed, that happened. But I have heard a couple of comments, especially on my YouTube and my Instagram. They've mentioned it. So it is still possible, especially as the stronger cells move in. So it is possible you guys do see some heavier rainfall. I mean, this is a statewide event. Most of the islands will see rainfall. You can see that the next couple of days. All right. Let's actually break down some of the dynamics here. I know this is kind of getting into the weeds, but that's what this is for. Again, usually on my YouTube, this is what we go into. We go into the dynamics of what's going on. Surface pressure. We're taking a look at, if you've never seen a chart like this before, we are taking a look at the difference between high and low pressure at the surface. Low pressure being, again, the reds, high pressure being the blues. Low pressure, air around low pressure rotates counterclockwise. Again, this is called a Kona low because the air around it is shifting out of the south and southwest, pulling air up from the south. Air around high pressure rotates clockwise, so you've got two competing systems together. They're getting closer together, causing a tighter pressure gradient. So the closer the pressures are together, the faster the pressure changes, the higher the gradient, the stronger the winds are in the atmosphere. So again, winds will be rushing out of the south and southwest. You can see these lines right here. These are lines of constant pressure at the surface called isobars, pulling up moisture from the south and southwest and the chance for rain. The low is also creeping closer to us going into Saturday and Sunday, so intensifying that chance for rain. Couple of questions. Adrian's flying out tomorrow evening. I'm worried about the flight. Adrian, like I mentioned, it's kind of hard to predict without we don't really have, like on the continental United States, the convective allowing models that you'll see on the mainland or the continental United States news channels that show like this cell is going to be here. There's just a lack of data out here, and that's one of the things the Hawaii Climate Data Portal is really working towards. Let's actually show you. We got some heavier rain moving in towards Oahu. We're gonna do the last 15 minutes looping. Show you what's going on. So Oahu's seeing some heavier showers moving in from the south. Let's actually just take a look at some of the rainfall coming down. Heavier rainfall just offshore of Honolulu, closer to an inch and a quarter of rainfall per hour. Winds be coming over the Waianae Mountains in the way you're... Yes, so Kunia side, central Oahu, especially if you're close to the Waianae Mountain Range, you guys can see some stronger gusts. But right now, it seems like it's going to be mostly for windward sides, just because the orientation of the winds tomorrow will be more southerly. When it shifts to be more southwesterly, winds could get stronger in Kunia. And yeah, you guys can see the heavier rainfall coming down over Oahu, or moving in from the south. It hasn't reached everybody, but... this heavier cell, let's get in closer to town. Let's actually click in. Yeah, nearly an inch and a half per hour moving in just from the southwest of Honolulu. Again, this is coming in waves, everybody. It's not going to be consistent rainfall. That, like I mentioned, John Bravender, a great meteorologist at the National Weather Service, he today in the governor's press conference said this is coming in waves. We don't want you guys to get lulled into a false sense of security, because potential as the storm gets closer for heavy rainfall is possible. What do the red areas represent, Virginia? What are you asking? On this graphic or on the surface pressure chart? I'll leave it right here. We can keep talking about what's going on Oahu. All right. Yeah, so you continue moving up towards Pearl City, Waipahu. Obviously lighter rain coming down right now. Over near Pearl City. Don't know why that's not. All right. Having some technical difficulties. Yeah, but you can see the heavier showers moving in from the south. The more red areas, the oranger it is, the more heavy the rainfall is. A little bit of a lull over on Kauai, but again, you've got moisture moving in from the south and southwest again. The rainfall totals or rainfall rates not that heavy coming in over Kauai, but another round of rainfall actually moving in towards Ni'ihau right now. Yeah, Lanai right now just started raining. Let's take a look at Lanai. Yep, you can see over on Lanai, heavier rainfalls just off to the southwest. Let's actually take a look at, again, the last 15 minutes, because you can see some heavier showers coming down just off to the southwest of Oahu. It's kind of going to continue moving out of the south. You can kind of see the overall motion of these storms is out of the south, moving up towards Oahu. Kahului, Maui. Again, this is I know Kahului, Maui really needs the rainfall. Central Maui is one of the parts of the state that still has extreme drought. It's still possible out there, guys. Let's actually take a look at when it's supposed to further intensify for Maui. This is Friday around 5 p.m. Again, we could expect lighter showers, but further intensification expected going into Friday, late Friday. This is the European weather model. Again, the GFS and European weather model a little bit different. They disagree a little bit, but Friday evening for Maui. Again, let's just bring up the impacts graphic one more time. You can kind of see this is what going into Friday. Really not of a threat for Maui tonight. But as we're going into Friday, possibly early Friday into midday and mid-afternoon. Again, it comes in waves, guys. It's not going to be a consistent rainfall. Can I pan out to see all the islands? Sure. I'll do that. We'll just let this loop for a second. Yeah, you're starting to see, looks like some thunder developing off to the southwest of us. All right, William, watching from Big Island, and my main concern is the very raging wind speeds. Have heard 20 to 30 mile per hour gusts all the way to 70 mile per hour gusts. Can you elaborate on the winds? Again, I'll leave the radar loop up for a bit for you, for everybody else, while I'm explaining this to William. That's a great question, William. I know that, that's a big concern. Again, we've got winds coming out of the south and southwest. The reasoning is because of the high and low pressure. We looked at the surface pressure chart. I don't know if you saw that. The winds are going to be very strong coming out of the south, and really we're expecting them to grow in strength late tonight into Friday and Saturday. So it could get pretty breezy. Depending on where you're at on the Big Island, that's going to be very crucial to what kind of winds you see. Because if you're on an area that's just downwind of a mountain, or I'm trying to think, upwind, yeah, downwind, excuse me, downwind of a mountain, you're going to be seeing stronger winds, especially if you're on the northeastern side or eastern or northern side of that mountain. That's where you're going to be seeing the strongest winds coming in. Not even raining in Waikiki. Yeah, that's let's take a look. Again, what we're seeing out there is again, which is very frustrating. The Molokai radar is currently down, so the Kauai radar is what we're relying on. And again, if you know anything about radar imagery, the further away the radar beam gets from the radar site, the higher up in the atmosphere it's detecting. So it is possible that we're seeing some cells that are outputting some higher rainfall totals, but it's not as heavy out there. But we are seeing some data suggesting that rainfall is moving in out of the south and southwest over on Oahu. Again, and more is moving out of the south. It's going to be pretty consistent. Lightning getting picked up to the north on the satellite imagery. Here's a very clear example of the Kauai radar not being able to detect to the north. Look, the radar coverage can't even see off to the north of it. Very frustrating. I know this is very useful during hurricane season. Of course, after Iniki, the storm came up from the south. So if we did see another storm to impact Kauai like that, it would be coming in from the south. Usually the storms impact the Big Island first, and as they do, they get torn apart by Mauna Loa and Mauna Kea and bring lingering moisture. But the reason Iniki was so bad is the winds came out of the storm, went south of the islands and then turned right and just into the island. So again, the South Shore radar is really helpful there, but in situations like this where storms are coming from the northwest, it can be pretty frustrating. Saw a national report calling this an atmospheric river. I don't think this is being referred to as an atmospheric river. This is the technical term for this is Kona storm. Atmospheric rivers is when you usually get like a trough set up over the west coast, and it just brings a lot of moisture, just like a river of moisture to the west coast. This is different. This is actually a closed low. I haven't been checking the YouTube chat. Let's do some YouTube. I apologize for ignoring YouTube. We're live on both Facebook, YouTube, and your H&N streaming app. If you have that on your YouTube or your TV, thanks for downloading that. We're really pushing that, guys. How is this storm comparable to hurricanes that have passed by most recently? It seems to be potentially worse. Well, the most impactful hurricane, I believe, was the most recent one, of course, that impacted us directly. Was Hurricane Douglas in 2023? No, Hurricane Douglas in 2020, and then the indirect impacts of Hurricane Dora moving to the south of us caused strong winds, and of course that led to the wildfire disaster over on Maui. But Hurricane Douglas was the most recent storm that impacted Hawaii, and it went to the north of us. This is just a much larger system. This is a closed low that's off to the northwest of us. There's the center of the circulation. Let's actually take a look at how far away it is. I'm going to just take us all the way from Oahu to the center of the circulation. It's over 780 miles away from us right now. And hurricanes is compared to this system, very compact, a smaller low. Of course, they can get pretty big, but this stretches like all the way up to the Aleutian Islands. This is a synoptic level event compared to a tropical event where it's on a much smaller scale, but still those can pack a punch. In terms of like impact, again, a hurricane obviously would be much more impactful, but this, of course, has the potential to bring strong winds. Wind gusts up to 70 miles per hour. And again, wind gusts, that's what the National Weather Service is forecasting. Wind gusts up to 70 miles per hour. That would not even be, again, those are gusts. Those aren't even close to the sustained winds of a Category 1 hurricane. A Cat 1 hurricane starts at 74 miles per hour. So it would be the same strength as a tropical storm. But again, still could be damaging. Lots of rainfall expected. Let's take a look. Let's Jacques, I hope that answered the question. Mona saying this Kona low looks much larger than I have ever seen on radar. It seems, at least the last one for sure. This is probably is forecasted, at least. We'll still have to see how it plays out, to be one of the more impactful weather events since I have started. Of course, I've worked at Hawaii News now for 3 years now. I started at Hawaii News now right before the August 2023 wildfire. So again, that's been the most impactful weather event, but this has been at least the forecasted most impactful winter storm that we've seen. Again, still have to wait to see how it plays out, but rainfall moving in right now, kind of just babysitting the radar. I say that a lot on my YouTube channel. Haven't heard one thunder yet. Yeah, there was thunder this morning. I woke up to thunder on Oahu. There's been thunderstorms out there. We're expecting the intensity to be building in later tonight again. Shout out to Davis Pittner, Liz Kruger is saying. Yeah, Davis is a good friend of mine. He used to work here at Hawaii News now, actually. Yes, someone saying this was the national news was referring to this as an atmospheric river. I was just saying that's not meteorologically correct. How will the wind be for Nanakuli over the weekend? That's a good question. Again, the high wind warning is statewide, but what we usually see with these weather events is, remember last time, the last weather event that we saw, it was winds out of the east and northeast, strong trade winds. It was an upper level low moving in, so heavy rainfall. An upper level low is a weatherman's woe, I always like to say. But the winds were coming out of the east-northeast, so the strongest winds were on the opposite side of the island. I wouldn't be surprised if winds are strong over Nanakuli side, Waianae side, leeward side. But they'll likely be the strongest over the east and northeastern side of each island. What is a synoptic event, someone is asking? That's the name of the person watching someone. Someone, and then a bunch of numbers. Synoptic is, there's different scales in meteorology. That I should have defined that term. That's on me. Synoptic meaning large scale, like big sweeping cold front, big high pressure system. Then there's the mesoscale, which is watching like thunderstorms, tornadoes, severe weather. Like if you're going storm chasing on the continental United States, you'd be looking at a supercell, and that's a mesoscale event. And then there's microscale, which is like the eddies in the atmosphere, the little twirls that you could see. So I apologize, but I hope that gives you an answer. All right, let's check back in on Facebook. All right, seems like Sumi saying, hi, I'm surprised it's not Wednesday. Yeah, we're doing an impromptu episode of the Drew Point today. Winds are building in, Virginia. Winds are building in tonight. We're starting to see winds get stronger, especially as the low is getting closer to us. Here's the low. You can kind of see it creeping down towards the east and southeast slowly. As that gets closer, it gets closer to the higher pressure. The pressure gradient is going to be strengthening, so the winds are going to be picking up. Waimanalo had heavy showers. Yeah, we're starting to see some heavier showers out over Oahu. Yeah, also rain starting over Molokai and Maui. Frustrating that we don't have the Molokai radar, but that's been the theme of this winter weather season, or this wet season here. It's been down throughout a couple of events, but it's down again, so we're relying on the 2 radars on Hawaii Island and 2 radars over on Kauai. Yeah, I've seen a lot of people use the Zoom Earth app. I've also seen a lot of people use Windy.com. Those are all great apps. Again, it's just raw weather model data. Sometimes that can be perfect for you, but with these like large scale events, it's kind of harder for it to pin down. Like that's why I always try to say when I show the rainfall accumulation that it's just raw data. It's not going to be exact. And if it was exact, if all of those numbers came true, I would go out and buy a lottery ticket. But yeah, those apps are great for seeing just the data. It's a great tool. I'm glad that the weather data is getting out to more people, getting out to the public. It's great. I'm glad that people can see it on their phones. But again, I think there is possibility for strong winds over the leeward side. But again, the messaging here is the strongest winds over the windward side, or if you're just downwind of the mountains, again, winds will be out of the southwest. Troy on Facebook's asking, what is the percentage Big Island will get hit with heavy rainfall? I'm just going to leave this up for a second, the impacts timeline, so people can see what's going on. Shannon, that's a great question. For Hawaii weather forecasting, do you generally find the GFS or the European weather model to be more reliable? I've been looking at the newer PWAI model outputs, curious how it's been performing. Shannon, that's a great question. I typically lean towards the European weather model. Again, you may be familiar that there's been some hits to weather modeling over the last year, just lack of data with just some of the government cuts. Again, that's not the whole reason. There's a lot that goes into it, but I usually kind of lean towards the European weather model. But there's so many different things that go into it. We kind of try to decipher the biases. I usually show European weather model in my forecasts, but there have been times that the GFS has performed much better. The PWAI model outputs, I haven't actually looked at those, so I'll have to take a look at those. Just joined, looking for Maui winds. Let's actually go through the winds again. All right, again, let's go through all the alerts. I haven't done this in a while. We've got a high wind warning up for the entirety of the state except for Hawaii Island. Southwesterlies. This started at 6 p.m. this evening and will last until 6 a.m. on Sunday. Southwesterlies between 30 to 40 miles per hour, gusting closer to 70 miles per hour. 6 p.m. this evening through 6 a.m. Sunday. The summits of Mauna Loa and Mauna Kea are also under a high wind warning, a high wind watch up for the entirety of Hawaii Island. It could be upgraded to a high wind warning as well. Southwesterlies between 25 to 35 miles per hour, gusting closer to 60. And again, we've been talking about the flood watch as well. This is up statewide. There's a flood advisory currently up for Kauai, but again, we're seeing that kind of lull out there right now. We haven't seen a flood advisory go up for Oahu. We did have a flash flood warning up for Oahu earlier today. That is no longer the case. So kind of just sitting and babysitting the radar. Outside of that, we've got a winter storm warning. Blizzard conditions expected on the summits of Mauna Loa and Mauna Kea. I wish I could show you guys the live cam. We've been having some issues with our weather computer where I haven't been able to get it live. Snow accumulation, 1 foot to 1.5 feet, and take a look at those wind gusts. 110 miles per hour possible. So the summit road's closed. No need to be up there. It would be pretty dangerous. System looks like it's moving fairly quickly, Lena is saying. Yeah, Lena, remember this is, I've been trying to say again, this is going to be coming in rounds. It's going to be sticking around. It is possible you see a little bit of calmer conditions on Friday, but again, it's very hard to forecast where exactly the cells will be without the access to the higher resolution data that the mainland usually has, the continental United States. So we're just seeing out there the overall trend is that there's a chance for rainfall in the next couple of days. Moving in closer to Oahu, you can see heavier showers coming down out there. Let's actually take a look at some of the rainfall rates again, see what the latest data is showing. Just offshore, seeing nearly 2 inches of rainfall per hour. Near Waimanalo, actually, 1.5 inches of rainfall per hour. Starting to see this stretch up to the North Shore. Why is this storm so different from others like January? Jeremiah, that's a great question. Again, the last big one that we had was it was an upper level low. This is a surface low, a Kona low. So we've got winds shifting out of the south, rainfall totals in the models just much higher, and the surface low is creeping pretty close to us. And as that happens, it's also receiving upper level support, mid-level support. It's just, there's the potential. All of the trends that we usually look for in weather models, we're looking for dynamic uplift, we're looking for positive vorticity advection. Lots of buzzwords, I know, but like there's things that we look for as meteorologists for the potential, and the potential is there. We've got to communicate the risk. I know people are frustrated that the forecast may have busted yesterday for Kauai and Oahu. I mean, we saw light rain, some heavier showers, 8 inches of rain, Mount Waialeale going Wednesday, Tuesday night into Wednesday. But the models are saying that we could see this. We've got to be able to communicate the risks, and it's not just me. It's the National Weather Service, the other stations. We're watching this. Like a lot of people are watching this pretty closely. Like December 2021, Jeremiah, I wish I had an answer for you. Again, I've only been here for I've only worked at Hawaii News now for 3 years, so I don't have any insight for you on December 2021. I wish I did. Do I think there will be any additional storms following this one? DeMarcus is asking. There are some long-range models saying maybe some pockets of rainfall moving in at the end of next week. I don't know if it'll be as intense as this one, but if we do see it, it could potentially bring the risk of rapid runoff. The ground will be very saturated, so we've got to watch that. Are we still thinking it's 30 inches of rainfall tomorrow and Saturday? Chris is asking. All right, Chris. So I've seen this number thrown out, 30 inches. I've definitely mentioned it on my YouTube, but that was a number that was over 7 days. That was originally forecasted for 7 days, like total, not just in one event. If it was 30 inches of rainfall dropping in one day, that would be catastrophic. That's more like a Cat 5 hurricane. That's lots and lots of rain coming down. I don't think 30 inches of rainfall is going to be coming down tomorrow and Saturday. Again, let's look at the rainfall totals again. I mean, we saw 8 inches of rainfall over Mauka, Kauai. Let's pull up the rainfall totals. Let's actually look at the rainfall that we've seen so far. Again, I want to highlight our partners over the Hawaii Climate Data Portal. Again, 30 inches, that was a total over 7 days from Tuesday into next Tuesday. That is, I don't know where that messaging got mixed up, but I want everybody to realize that this is 30 inches would be like a catastrophic amount of rainfall to come down in 1 to 2 days. Hail was mentioned. Is there a high probability? One was most likely to occur. We had hail that damage to our roof shingles in 2014 in Kauai was only dime size. I've seen some unconfirmed reports of some hailstones over in Waianae, but again, that's unconfirmed. It is possible. The instability present in the atmosphere, that's what we look for when we're looking for hail. We're seeing, hey, what's the instability look like? How strong are the winds going to be rushing upwards? And the reasoning we're looking for, we don't see hail a lot in the tropics because the reasoning is hail is formed because of the updrafts in the atmosphere. Say a cumulonimbus, typical thunderstorm, like one that you'd think of like an anvil cloud. You've got strong upward motion in the atmosphere, and it's pushing rain, water up above the freezing level in the atmosphere. So it gets pushed up really high, and then it freezes, and then it's stronger than the updraft, or it weighs more than the updraft is able to push up. So it falls back down, then gathers more water around it, goes back up, and it repeats that process until it falls out of the updraft. The reason we don't see hail that often here in the tropics is because of the freezing level is so much higher, it's so much warmer here. But it is possible. If we do see it, it'd probably be pretty small. I don't think we would see severe hail. If we saw severe hail here in Hawaii, which is 1 inch hail, it would probably be a national news story. It would probably be reported everywhere. If we do see hail, it's going to be tiny. It's pretty rare here in the tropics. But again, we did see some unconfirmed reports over the leeward coasts. I don't have much more information than that. I haven't seen any NWS stuff about it. All right, let's check in. Everflight saying, I'm hoping we see at least one spinner. I mean, water spouts are possible. I mean, the potential is there. We got this boundary moving in, south winds rushing up over the boundary, span in the atmosphere, stronger upper level winds. So we've got winds at different directions, and here I'm using my hands when I could be drawing on the graphic. Winds out of the south, and then winds at the upper levels out of the northwest. So you're seeing a little bit of spin there with the wind shear. It is possible. So water spouts have been tagged with a couple of the special marine warnings. Haven't seen any confirmed reports. Hey, Mel is putting in a great point. Please remind visitors to stay safe and be cautious before hiking, going to waterfalls, and swimming. Please don't go hiking. Not only are you putting yourself at risk, but you're potentially putting other people at risk who have to go and help you. The city workers. I know. We want everybody to be safe. That's the main thing here. Is we want people to be safe with this storm. So please don't go hiking. It's not a good time to be hiking. I know you may be here, maybe the vacation of a lifetime, but we want people to be safe. Please don't go hiking. And also, only 6 inches of water can cause a car to lose control or stall. Don't drive. Turn around. Don't drown. If you see a flooded roadway, do not drive in it. Just be careful. Do not drive in. You do not want to get your vehicle swept away. All right. Tiora Ortiz is asking, should we expect high winds? High winds, that's definitely in the forecast. I'll show you again. Let's actually take a look at the winds right now, because again, there you go. Winds have already updated. Winds out of the south, 21 mile per hour winds over in Lihue. And those are sustained winds. Winds are going to be picking up throughout late tonight as the system's getting closer to us. Look at the contours just to the west of the islands of Kauai and Niihau. They're getting pretty strong out there. 15 mile per hour southerlies over in Kona, Kauai, southeasterlies over in Honolulu. Again, winds are going to be picking up. Let's actually take a look at the wind cast. This particular model is a little bit conservative in the values, typically. Southerly winds around out of the southwest around 20 to 25 miles per hour, 28 mile per hours over Lanai City. This is for Friday afternoon. And then still getting a little bit more southwesterly going into Saturday. All right, let's. I said VOG forecast, but let's look at the instability. This is something that I don't usually show on air. I wouldn't show this during a broadcast. Probably would get a note from our managers saying, "Don't show that. That's not what people want." That's why we're doing it here on YouTube and Facebook Live in the H&N streaming app. This is the storm fuel across the state. This is the convective available potential energy. So we've been talking a lot about the instability present in the atmosphere, and you can see lots of instability out there. Again, the storm's going to start using it up as we're going forward, so you're going to see it decrease going into Saturday and Sunday. So you see the risk of heavier rainfall falling over the western half of the state. And then you see it kind of trying to build back in throughout Wednesday and Thursday of next week. Again, some long-range models hinting at some rainfall going into next week. Not as strong as this one, but we'll probably be watching it because the ground will be very saturated. Let's go back to the radar. I know a lot of people are watching this. Melissa, thank you for your very kind note. This has been something that I've been wanting to get started here at Hawaii News now for a while. We do this show every Wednesday at 1:30. So if you guys want to join in, ask questions, it's a fun time to chat and get to nerd out about the weather a bit. What does a cloud... at N is saying... At NN-OG4KJ is saying, what does a cloud wear under its raincoat? Thunderwear. Oh, I recognize somebody in the chat. Again, we're looking at the radar right now. I think this is my good friend Kainoa. He's saying, Drew, what's the flash flood warning in effect for? Let's actually take a look at the flood watch map. Again, the only area that we have a flood watch or warning is currently up. We've got a flood watch statewide. We told you guys about this earlier this week. This is a multi-day event. But the only area that's currently under an advisory, which is more like nuisance rainfall, nuisance ponding, nuisance flooding, is Kauai right now. So, Kainoa, I hope that answers your question. Thanks for tuning in. How bad will the winds be? How bad will the winds be for the leeward side of Maui? A little bit windy in Nanakuli. Let's actually take a look. Again, the winds, this is a rain and wind event. There is a potential for thunderstorms to develop like we saw over Oahu earlier today. A flash flood warning woke a lot of us up. Southwesterlies between 30 to 40 miles per hour, gusting closer to 70 miles per hour. That was from 6 p.m. this evening and lasts through 6 a.m. Sunday. The only area where we're not seeing the high wind warning up is currently for Hawaii Island. The summits of Mauna Loa and Mauna Kea included in this as well, but the rest of the island is included in a high wind watch. Yeah, 30 mile per hour winds and 45 mile per hour gusts in Lahaina are definitely possible tomorrow. Again, the high wind warning is up statewide. But again, my messaging here is that the strongest winds will be over the north and eastern side and also in the valleys, kind of a wind tunnel effect. And as the winds rush up the mountains on the windward side of the island, rushing back down the other side, it really depends if you're on the northeastern or northern side of the mountain. But yeah, so strong winds possible over leeward Oahu tomorrow, definitely. Here's the impacts graphic again. This is a product created by the National Weather Service. I've recreated it in our system so you can kind of see what they're forecasting. It's kind of hard to read. I know there's a lot of information there, but tonight into Friday and Saturday, and then into Sunday and Monday, you start to see conditions improve over Kauai and Oahu. Rain possible on saturated ground Monday, but maybe a few pop-up showers. Sniffable is saying, hello, it's not even raining. Are we on the same planet? Sniffable, I don't know where you are. So it is raining out there over parts of the state right now. We've been watching the radar. Let's check in on Facebook. Yeah. Lots of people asking about flights. Again, like, it's very hard for me to be able to say if the flights are going to go out. I'm not an expert on, like, aviation meteorology. I would just definitely check with your airlines. This is going to be coming in waves. There might be a lull where you'd be able to get out, but I imagine they've got forecasters that watch the radar pretty closely. So I just check with the airlines, guys. Got a lot of people also saying jokes, weather jokes. Rain sounds like it's picking up in Nanakuli. All right, here's the radar again. Let's go through this. Oh no. An Aggie joke. An Aggie joke in the YouTube chat. Yes, I did go to Texas A&M. That's where I got my meteorology degree. I actually think Hawaii weather is pretty interesting. I know Lance is asking, isn't Hawaii weather boring compared to Texas? There's so much that goes on here, so many different microclimates. I really enjoy it. This is something I'm very passionate about. Starting to see heavier showers out over Oahu. Let's take a look at the latest radar scan. You can see it's moving in from the south. Yeah, El Nino is expected to come back, which means a couple of things for us here in Hawaii. I'll leave the radar looping for a bit so you can kind of see what's going on. I want to talk about El Nino. La Nina actually gives us more of these winter weather events here, but El Nino in Hawaii means two big things really. I'm going to pull up a resource that I have. This is from the National Weather Service. So basically the summary is broken down to rainfall for Hawaii and El Nino kind of decreases. It's more rain in the beginning of the season, and then a rapidly less drier wet season. So early wet season we might see a little bit of rain, but less throughout the rest of the wet season. Trade winds slightly weaker. Sea level is on the rise, and near to slightly above normal. High run up from distant swells. Ocean conditions are warmer. And then, so the two main things that we see from El Nino, I think Sniffable, you were asking about that. Sniffable, that's a great name, at Sniffable. El Nino gives us two big things. Excuse me, I kind of got twisted up on my words there. We've got two big things when El Nino happens. Bigger swells, more likely that the eddy happens, which is pretty cool. I know everybody likes the eddy out here. It's so cool to see it happen. I got to see it a couple of years ago. So cool, the most recent one. And then, unfortunately, it does mean increased tropical cyclone activity, so hurricanes, tropical storms. It looks like it's going to be a stronger El Nino. We're moving towards El Nino this summer, which means for us that we're going to have to watch the radar, watch the storm systems very closely. We're going to have to see how it plays out. I mean, it's going to be something we got to watch. Tara's asking, how does Hilo look for tomorrow? I wouldn't be surprised if Hilo's known for having a couple of showers. The eastern and southeastern side of the Hawaii Island, a few downpours, but I think you guys there might be something like a chance that you guys miss out. But again, there's just a chance for rainfall statewide. Like a bulk of it will be over the central portions of the state. Oh, Julianne's from Waco. Thanks for watching from Waco. How often does this type of occurrence happen in March? That's a great question. I think typically this usually I mean, it's still kind of early March. It's March 12th. We're closer to February than we are to April. I mean, I don't have any data for you on that. I'm sure I could get it for you, but I can't show it on the screen. I don't have the capability to right now. You know, usually the wet season really picks up December, January, February. This is kind of, I mean, I don't think it's too atypical, but again, I can't speak for the data. Alaska canceled 2 flights. Yeah, I want you guys. I can't answer your questions on your airlines. I'm not the aviation meteorologist. I'm not the guy making the calls. I want you guys to check with the airlines. Heavy rain in Waimea, Kauai. Tanner saying, hey, Drew, should I be worried about my girlfriend driving over the Poly tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. for work? Tanner, if it is pouring out there, I think the best course of action is just check the radar right before she goes in. Again, like this is going to be coming in waves. There might be a lull that she may be able to drive into work. Again, there was one time when I was driving in during a heavy rain event where I got stuck in traffic at the top of the Poly, like going through like right before going into the tunnel. There was a landslide, and so it's important to be careful. That's the best thing that I would tell you, Tanner, is just check the radar tomorrow morning. We'll be on air. Guy Hoggy will be on air tomorrow, and you guys will be able to check with him for that. Brendan is saying, I get irritated with people who get upset with the forecast. When the forecast says one thing and the opposite happens, can you explain why the model/predictions can be so hard to predict? You know, Brendan, I'm right there with you, man. So the best way to describe it here, one of the reasons I keep shouting out the Hawaii Climate Data Portal, the Hawaii Mesonet, the work that those guys are doing over at UH Manoa is exquisite. They are really helping us not be data sparse out here in Hawaii. We are historically very data sparse. There is a lack of data. There's a lack of ability to really show what's going on the islands in terms of weather. Like we can see the temperature. We've got 4 radars, but again, the radar coverage is very bad. We can't see North Shore Kauai. We don't have a radar on Oahu. Moloka'i's radar covers the central portions of the state, but again, as the farther away you get from the radar, the higher up you're seeing, so you're not really seeing what's going on closer to the surface. Two radars over on Hawaii Island, and they have mountain coverage, so the radar beams get blocked, and all of the radar data, all of the meteorological, like the Mesonet data, gets ingested into the weather models. And with a lack of data, we also don't have a lot of data because we're surrounded by ocean. The continental United States has so much weather data that goes into the weather models. Kind of hard to predict, kind of on a smaller scale, what's going on out there. So it's very, very difficult to give a precise forecast for Hawaii. I know the residents of Hawaii know that very well. It's difficult to give to give insight. But again, the models are outputting the risk, and we've got to communicate the threat. That's why we're here, and that's why I kind of wanted to do these lives. We're doing these lives to answer questions, chat about the weather. I think people enjoy this. I'm glad you guys are hanging out with me this evening. Do you ever get sleep? I appreciate your dedication. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes I feel like I'm married to the job, even though I'm married. My wife is amazing, and the fact that she puts up with me being so dedicated, I love her to death. Is the storm going to bring a severe thunderstorm for tomorrow? It is possible. Again, the instability's there. Let's put the radar back up. I've just had the model data out there. Julie, thanks for the nice comment. Did you work at KWTX by chance? I worked at KB for a bit. I worked just in College Station. Mojo's asking, what's the most accurate weather app? Weather Channel, NWS, MSN, Meteorred are all over the place. One app says 4 inches, the other says 7 inches tomorrow. The thing is, kind of like what I was saying with windy.com and Zoom Earth, all of those apps, all they're doing is giving you just raw weather model data. It's just like, hey, it's going to do this, 100% of rain. 100% chance of rain, 10 inches of rainfall. It's not, none of those apps really give you like kind of the insight. That's why I always suggest to follow like a local meteorologist, because they're the ones who are going to be able to break down the threat, break down the potential. Yeah. If I was to recommend an app, I'd recommend our H&N First Alert weather app. And I don't mean that just for brand purposes. I promise you I don't mean that just for brand purposes. I mean that because our entire weather team, Guy Hoggy, Jennifer Robbins, Ben Gutierrez, Billy V, and myself, we upload videos on it. You can get updates from us where we break down kind of the risk and conditions out there. Say we have a conditional chance for thunderstorms. We're going to be telling you about that. Your app is just going to say thunderstorms. So I recommend following local meteorologists, downloading your local weather alert. Weather app, H&N weather app. Let's check in on Facebook. Lots of people. Yeah, so Davis is still watching. Davis, thank you. It's good to see you, my friend. Would you say the storm's closing in? Right now, we are seeing the heavier showers over on Oahu. Again, we haven't seen any thunder really as we've babysat the radar this evening. Just seeing heavier showers out there. Let's actually take a look at some of the rainfall rates, Davis. Just for you, man. Nearly 2 inches of rainfall moving in towards Makaha per hour. That's per hour again. But lighter rain over most of Oahu. A lot of this is moving in from the south. I don't think we have any flood advisories. Yeah, just a flood advisory up for Kauai, flood watch up for the entirety of the state. It's been kind of mellow so far. Again, the potential is there. Oh, cool. Julie, you did work at KWTX. That's really cool. Yeah, I worked at KBTX for about a year while I was finishing up my degree at A&M. Yeah, there was some pretty strong weather earlier on Maui and Molokai. There was flooding. Schools were closed from parts of Molokai earlier this morning. Of course, schools are canceled tomorrow. Heavier showers moving in. No lightning as of this evening. Again, we're still watching the system moving in. Gotta watch to see. Could potentially be developing. Further developing as we're going into the evening. Lots of instability out there. Uh, Janita, excuse me if I said your name wrong. I apologize. Is saying Kona storms are never nice to Waimanalo. Yeah, the winds, exactly. Winds coming out of the south-southwest, rushing up other side of the island, rushing down the Ko'olau Mountains. Yeah, that's we're expecting strong winds again. Current rainfall accumulation. I can pull up some numbers. We can put a NWS rainfall totals. I'll just read these off. Over the last 3 hours, and this is as of this ended at 7 p.m. This is from the NWS. Let's just read some of the ones. Over the last 3 hours over on Kauai, Mount Waialeale saw 3 inches of rainfall. North Wailua Ditch, this is the USGS site, 1.5 inches. But other sites like Waimea Heights, 0.7 of an inch. Again, it's been lighter rainfall coming in this evening. Waialeale, 0.6 of an inch. Pu'ulua was just over an inch. Here on Oahu over the last 3 hours. Again, this does not include the rainfall that we've been seeing as we've been watching the radar this evening. Yeah, most of it's pretty light. I'll put this in the chat for you so you can actually take a look at. Dude of Dawn, at Dude of Dawn, I just put in the chat. At weather www.gov HFORRA. Try and that's the link to be able to look at the rainfall totals. Again, that ends at 7 p.m. It will get updated. If you guys are new to, obviously we're here on YouTube or on Facebook. I do a lot of social media coverage as well. We do. I do YouTube videos, I do TikToks, I do Instagram, Facebook. I know a lot of people are, the world's not linear television anymore. That's why we're also here on the H&N streaming app. And we're trying to reach you guys where you're at. So if you want to follow me on those platforms, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. There's the information. I always try to keep you guys up to date. No school tomorrow, that's right. Okay, I'm going to put the school closure list in the chat as well. I'm putting that. School closure list is in the Facebook chat and the YouTube chat. I hope you guys can both see that. Obviously, we're just kind of sitting here. Sitting and waiting, babysitting the radar. I'm probably going to wrap this up in the next 10 to 15 minutes. This has been a long day. I still got to go home. I still got to eat dinner, guys. Got to take care of myself. I'm not on Threads, Virginia. I mean, I have an account, but I don't really post. I try to. There's just a lot of I used to post really actively on X or it was called Twitter when I was active on it, but not really active on that site very more. Mostly just scroll it for sports. I'm not on Threads either. Yeah, lots of people watching. Glad you guys are enjoying this. Dude, if Donna saying go home, brah. I might take your advice. Give me. We'll cut this off at 8:45. For those that don't know, we do a daily show, not daily show, excuse me. We do this show every Wednesday at 1:30. This has been an impromptu session of the Drew Point. We might do another one tomorrow, depending on how active the radar is. Again, this is coming in waves. You can see that second wave moving in towards Kauai. Not a lot of thunder out there right now, but potential for it to be building in the overnight. I'm getting the go-ahead from our digital director. She just gave me the thumbs up. I think I think we're gonna wrap this up, guys. Thank you guys. Thanks for tuning in. Again, we're watching the radar pretty closely. There's lots to watch. Again, I know people are frustrated that it was sunny yesterday, but again, my messaging here is that the potential is there. I take this very seriously. I take this job very seriously, and I want to be as communicative as possible. So you can always find that on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. This means a lot to me. It means a lot to me that we've got an audience for this. I also, again, I'm on YouTube, I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, I'm on TikTok. We do the show every Wednesday, every Wednesday at 1:30, where it's live. Videos, YouTube daily, weekdays, Instagram almost daily. I did make Sumi saying I want to buy the Drew Point cup. The only official merchandise for the Drew Point is in my hand right now. I can't sell these, but it's cool. It's very cool. Billy saying, just join the feed, give a summary, please. Seeing some heavier showers moving in towards Oahu right now, moving in from the south. It's going to continue. Thunderstorms possible going into tomorrow, further intensification. It's going to come in rounds. Thank you guys so much. Appreciate everybody joining. All right. See you guys later. Have a good night.